In many ways, it's just a sort of symbolism for our vision and our values. Where are we going? What are we meant to be as a church? We need to work out firstly, what are the things we love? What makes us us? What's our DNA?
We're not going to try and save people by therapeutic pop psychology like Oprah Winfrey. We're going to save them with the gospel of Jesus Christ.
We value the giving of our lives, our time, and our money. And in fact, I remember the discussion we had that we said, we're not just going to say money, because I remember you saying, these days, the most important thing to people is time. So why don't you talk a bit more about that value?
I think the big thing for me that time is so important to people. People are always doing something for the future. In the future, I'll get to this point.
Yeah.
And for us as a church, it's about now.
Yeah.
It's about living the now.
Yeah.
It's about working now, giving your time now, giving your money, your resource now,
Yeah.
actually seeing it work in the kingdom.
Yeah.
Being committed to what we're doing in a Christ-like way.
But I love what you share. It's almost like what's harder for me is not just handing over £2 to help a brother out.
Yeah.
It's more, I'm on my way somewhere, someone's on the side of the road, they're trying to change a wheel. And I don't know about you, but that's the big decisive moment for me.
I think certainly for us, it's about actually committing yourself totally to living God's way.
Brilliant.
And your time and your money is a real barometer
Yeah.
of how you're living.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I've got loads of scriptures to go through today. We're going to talk about total time and money. I'm going to put up a statement. Wow, it works. I've already got 2 slides today. I'm going to take some feedback from Nigel, and I think he's absolutely right. So I've got one slide which says what we're doing, and then the other slide is going to just have a list of all the scriptures. So you're going to have to hang on to your hats, because I'm going to go for it. So bear with me. So just read that. We value the giving of our lives, our time and our money to God's mission, to display devotion to Jesus Christ and to this town. We know that we must put our lives, our time and our money where our mouths are. The greatest testimony to our integrity as followers of Christ is that we put Him and His mission before our own comfort, agenda or financial security. Everything we have is from God anyway. So our first desire should be to give it to Him unreservedly. Okay. I think the first thing I want to do is talk about time. And time's a marvellous thing because we all share the same amount of it. Now, if you talk to a few people, they would dispute this. Because they would say, I have no time. I am so busy, you wouldn't believe how busy I am. So let's just look at somebody who's famous in Christian circles, called Spurgeon. Great preacher. Great man of God, built a church that in the 5 years that he was in this particular church, it grew by 14,000 people. But he interviewed every single person for membership. Simon, you're going to be busy, man. He interviewed every single person for membership. But there are 63 volumes of his sermons recorded. He wrote 140 books on Christian values, walk and life, and Christ. In his spare time, he answered, they reckon, up to 500 letters per week from people in his congregation. He prayed unceasingly. In his other bit of spare time, he opened an orphanage. He also, in the other part of his spare time, opened a Bible college. He was fairly busy. However, I've checked, and he had, listen to this, this is important, 24 hours each day. It's amazing. I checked. I've looked at the records. When he was alive, it was still 24 hours, which is 1,440 minutes each day. And if you want the seconds, I've got this written down, 86,400 seconds each day. I guarantee he didn't have any more than Angela or any less than Tommy. He just had the same number of minutes, hours, seconds. It's given to us equally. But how we use it is hugely effective in our lives for either God's blessing and glory or for ourselves. In Ephesians, where's my button? Oh, yeah, sorry, Ecclesiastes, that was the first one. Ephesians. Can we look that up? You got your Bible with you? Ephesians 5, verse 15 to 17. So be careful how you live, not as fools, but as those who are wise. Start off with, anybody want to put a hand up that they want to live as a fool? No, no hands at all. I'm with you here. I don't want to live as a fool. Make the most of every opportunity for doing good in these evil days. Do you think this could have been written yesterday? Tomorrow. I do. Make the most of every opportunity for doing good in these evil days. They're still evil days. They haven't changed. Don't act thoughtlessly, but try to understand what the Lord wants you to do. We've got to be really careful how we live. In verse 15, it talks about walking wisely. And if you want to understand walking wisely, go back and have a look at Proverbs. We're going to come on to Proverbs in a while. But I want this morning to think about this. Are you living in bondage? Now that's not a subject that you thought would come in time and money. Bondage, okay? Because are you under bondage to your time? We're going to come on to money as well. Are you under bondage to your money? Now, just think about this. When a baby's born, and it grows, and you wait for the first words, all the dads want it to say dad first. All the moms want it to say mum first. And the first thing it normally learns is mine. Mine. And you know something? That's where we're starting today. So every one of us in this room has started our thoughts and our feelings and our lives on the mine. It's mine. It's mine. It's my time. It's my life. It's my money. Well, I've got a message for you to start with. I'm trying to flag this as good as I can. It's not. It's not yours. It's not your money. It's not your time. It's not even your life. And what I want to do this morning is talk about what God says about this. And can we get a godly perspective? Some of the songs we've sung about earlier, it's all about you, Jesus. Blessed be the name of the Lord. And yet, when it comes down to some fundamental things in our lives, it becomes mine. Psalm 90, verse 12. These are basically, I'll put all these things up so you can write them down. And then if afterwards you want to look these up at home, that's great. The NIV says it in one way, but I've got a slightly different version, which is, so teach us to number our days that we may get a heart of wisdom. You know, who wants to be wise here? Because it's just they don't live in a foolish way. Who wants to be wise? I want to be wise. I want to learn God's ways. Yeah. We've got to start looking at what God says about foolishness and what wisdom says about being wise. In Proverbs it says, the fool